This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show. Just here recording week 6, Bengals versus Seahawks at Cincinnati. And oh my God, that was one of the worst Seahawks games since the opener that I have seen. Like, I think this is even worse than the opener because this game to me was so much more winnable than the Rams game, and it just leads to me having more disappointment. Hopefully we can bounce back in week 7, but oh man, let's get into this debacle of a game, shall we? So, game summary: Bengals win 17-13 over the Seahawks. Seahawks on the road, coming off of a bye week, and they just lose it. They lose a very winnable game, in my opinion. Let's start off with the stats. Let's start off with the home team first. The Bengals, 214 yards total in their game, 168 passing yards, 46 rushing yards, 4 yards per play, 14 first downs, went 2 for 11 on third down, had no fourth down tries, had 53 total plays, 3 sacks allowed, 6 punts, had 5 penalties for 43 yards given up, 0 fumbles, 1 interception by Joe Burrow that was picked off by Trey Brown. And they had 25 minutes, 59 seconds of possession time on the Seahawks side. And you look at the Seahawks stats and go, Ryan, why are you so disappointed in this game? Their stats look great, but I'll tell you why in just a moment. 381 yards total, 294 passing yards, 87 rushing yards, 5.4 yards per play, 24 first downs, 5 for 12 on third down efficiency. So that's better. That is better. They went 0 for 2 on fourth down. Okay, you don't see Pete Carroll going for many fourth downs, but all right, not great, but I'll take it. 70 plays total, 4 sacks allowed, 3 punts, 7 penalties for 64 yards. I'll get to that in a second. Still a problem, in my opinion. 0 fumbles lost and 2 interceptions. One in the red zone by Mike Hilton, and the other one by Cam Taylor Brait on DK Metcalf. And it was 34 minutes and 1 second of possession time for the Seahawks. Here's Ryan's focus players, and here is why I am mad. Geno Smith, let's start off with him. Man, in this game, he just did not look right, going 27 for 41, 323 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And those 2 interceptions were some of the worst interceptions I have seen. One was a forced pass in the red zone to, I believe it was Tyler Lockett. Uh, just miscalculate, or no, Jackson Smith and Jigba. It was to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he just forced the ball. He didn't need to force the ball. He could have taken the points. It was third down. You don't need to force the ball into the end zone. You're not down by much. It was like 14-10 by that time. You could have, taken your points and had a good enough chance to maybe score some more points. So the third down play and the red zone efficiency was not great for Geno Smith. Another one in the Cam Taylor Brait interception, that was a wide open pocket. No pressure was at him, and he just made the wrong read. He thought DK Metcalf was going to continue his route. He stops and he throws a miscommunicated pass, and it gets picked off completely. And these 2 picks were no pocket pressure from Geno's perspective. Those were just misreads, and it cost us the game. But we get to Kenneth Walker, 19 carries, 62 yards, 3.3 yards averaged, so couldn't get much on the ground, but had 1 touchdown. This whole game was defense, defense, defense. It was an exciting game for the defense, but no offense could result. That's why the score was so low. But we get into wide receiver Tyler Lockett, 6 receptions, 94 yards, 15.7 yards per reception, and 0 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, you got Joe Burrow. Man, I think his ankle is fine. I think after the game against the Cardinals and this game here, I think he's doing okay. 24 for 35, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception by Trey Brown. Joe Mixon, on the other hand, 12 carries, a day to forget for him, 38 yards, averaged 3.2 yards per carry, and 0 touchdowns. So both run defenses, Bengals and Seahawks, were just devouring run plays. And it was just a defensive stalwart of a game. And then we get to the wide receiver. It's Tyler Boyd. And I highlighted Tyler Boyd because I know Jamar Chase had more yards. He had 60 yards in this game, but I really wanted to talk about Tyler Boyd because he's a guy that has always been reliable for the Cincinnati Bengals. With T. Higgins back in the game managing the workload fell on to Tyler Boyd, and he really relished in that role. 7 receptions for 38 yards, averaged 5.4 yards per reception, and had the 1 touchdown in the first half. And the problem is, you know, we're looking at the defense of the Seahawks here. Draymond Jones had a fantastic game. 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, no interceptions. But this entire defensive front, the entire back end, yes, a little leaky at the start of the game in that first half, but by the second half, they had stiffened up and they had allowed 3 points. That was it. There were 2 touchdowns in the first half, and that was it. And I think they were both touchdowns on their first like 3 drives, right? In the first quarter. So correct me if I'm wrong there, but the defense played immaculate. We get to Quandre Diggs, the free safety rather. Quandre Diggs, again, tackling machine, played like he really wanted to be there. 8 solo tackles, no sacks, no interceptions. Jamal Adams and him are finally back, and it's nice to see the Seahawks defense show up when the offense clearly didn't. We get to linebacker Jordan Brooks, 4 for 1 on the day, 4 solo tackles, 1 assisted tackles, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. Man, another guy blanketing these receivers. And, when you have the offense stalling out with picks in the red zone and it forces Michael Dixon to make punts and things like that, I thought this team was going to break, and I thought the Bengals offense was going to get more out of their drives, and this defense held. So, all things considered, it's not the Seahawks defense that let down us losing this game. We get to the Bengals side of things, though. D lineman Sam Hubbard, what a beast, man. 5 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles, 1 sack, no interceptions. Just a menace. The Bengals front is just insane. DJ Reader on that side, Sam Hubbard on the other side. Their secondary, Daxton Hall's been a really nice addition. Logan Wilson has always been a guy that I've really liked, and he's in this focus players here. And then we get to DB Cam Taylor Brait on DK Metcalf basically the entire game. Had 4 solo tackles, no sacks, 1 interception. And this was the interception where Geno Smith just threw the ball lazily after trying to predict where DK was going to go. DK stops his route, and just a miscommunication. And, good solid game from Cam Taylor Brait, all things considered. But we get to the linebacker, Logan Wilson, a beast. Middle linebacker, 9 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 1 sack, no interceptions. And this is why Kenneth Walker's yardage and his, yards per carry were so low, because of this defensive front. So good on the Bengals for winning this game. But let's get to Ryan's final thoughts. So, what went well? The defense. The entire second half of this game was immaculate. They did everything they could to try and help Geno Smith and the offense achieve this win. People will think about the two touchdowns at the beginning of the game that were given up by the defense as the reason why we lost, but it wasn't on them. They had only allowed 3 points in that second half. I think, if I remember correctly, they showed like some stats in the second half, and it was like 58 yards or something like that on one of those stat sheets. So it's not on them. You know, I don't want to hear it from Seahawks fans saying, "Oh, it's the defense. It's the defensive pass rush. We didn't do as much as we could. We didn't get as many turnovers as we could." Well, the defense, man, they don't have to always make flashy plays. They stopped him on third down. They made him have all the punts in the world, and we just couldn't capitalize on offense. So I don't want to hear anybody saying, "Oh, the defense is why we lost this game," because it was the offense. Speaking of offense and what to improve on, that red zone offense was abysmal. Like, there was 4 trips in there, I think, 5 trips at the end of the game where we just didn't do anything with it. We didn't take field goals. We went for it on fourth down twice where it was late in the game and you needed to go for it. We had 1 turnover in the end zone when we had 3 points in our back pocket. Throwing it to Jackson Smith and Jigba, nice game from him, but honestly, forcing passes is not ideal. Geno Smith, this has got to be the worst game I've seen from him in a Seahawks uniform, because he looks like he was just forcing passes and not giving himself enough time to really scan the field. Even when the pocket was collapsing around him, we didn't see that much of an escapability from him as we're used to seeing. I'm wondering if he's banged up or what went on, but we need to figure this out. All in all, this was one of the most exciting games and one of the most stressful games for me of the entire season. Credit where credit is due. Bengals and Joe Burrow, you guys have made it back to 500. You guys deserve this win. Good on you. You're now 3-3. And you guys are great. I like watching you guys play. So good win on you guys. If the Seahawks did end up coming back and winning the game on their final drive, I would have still said the Bengals played just better and they were the better team today. On the Seahawks side of things, Seattle, please, Seahawks, for the love of all that is holy, I hope we can fix some of the issues. That red zone offense needs to be fixed. You can't just force passes. You need to be more mentally sound than that. And also, one other thing, DK, control your emotions. You have been one of the main culprits of like unnecessary penalties, man. In the Rams game, you threw one of the corners to the ground there in frustration, and you did the same thing to Cam Taylor Brait in this game the same exact way because you didn't get the ball when you were wide open. Well, you got to keep those emotions in check because those can stall out drives, and it's not going to help anybody, and it's not going to help our team win. So you need to be a team player and not get angry when you don't get the ball. It's just how it is. You're a leader on this team, bud. You got to start acting like it. But anyways, I hope we can fix some of the issues and come back stronger against the Cardinals in week 7. And that is it. That is it. Let's get to 4-2 when we come back in week 7 and learn from our mistakes from this game. Anyways, this is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show. Game recap for week 6 at Bengals versus the Seahawks. Signing off. Go Hawks, go. And let's have a bounce back week next week.